When my daughter Katia told me she was pregnant, I felt joy and pride. My little girl would soon be a mother, and I, a grandmother. But along with that realization came another one: pregnancy is not just happiness, it is also a test. She was tired, irritable, sometimes unable to hold back tears. Her husband, Andrei, tried to help, but I could see that his care was becoming more mechanical over time. He was used to the attentive, smiling Katia, but now she was a woman consumed by the changes happening inside her. I decided to support them both. To be there, help around the house, and distract Andrei from the exhaustion he probably didn't even realize was creeping in. I had always found it easy to connect with men. Age and life experience gave me that advantage. At first, our conversations with Andrei were ordinary: shopping, plans, casual stories. But over time, they became more personal. We laughed a little too long, I allowed myself playful jokes, and he held his gaze on me a little too often. It was innocent, or so I wanted to believe. But one night, everything changed. Katia had gone to bed early, exhausted from yet another difficult day. I was sitting in the kitchen, unable to sleep. Andrei came in to get a glass of water, but for some reason, he didn't leave right away. We spoke softly so as not to wake Katia. I don't remember who made the first move. Maybe I let my hand linger on his a second longer than necessary, or maybe he leaned in just a little too close. For a moment, we froze. I felt something undefined but dangerously exhilarating hanging in the air. That night became the point of no return. I'll take a short pause. Write in the comments where you're listening from, if you've ever experienced something similar in your life, or maybe someone you know has. Subscribe so you don't miss the next part. And now, I continue. I knew I was playing with fire, but I had no intention of stopping. At first, Andrei tried to resist, but each time, his gaze became hungrier, his movements bolder, and his breath heavier when we were alone. We found moments when no one could suspect a thing. Accidental touches that lingered too long, encounters in dark hallways where our bodies stood too close. Sometimes, I caught his gaze during family dinners, filled with hidden meaning, almost pleading. Katia noticed nothing. She was too busy preparing for the baby, discussing baby clothes with me, choosing wallpaper for the nursery. I nodded, pretended to listen, but my mind was elsewhere. It belonged to the stolen seconds with her husband. We became too reckless. One day, I walked into a room, thinking no one was home, and suddenly ran into Andrei. A look, a pause, a heartbeat racing out of control. He walked past me, but I felt his fingers graze my waist for just a second. It was impossible to stop. But the danger was growing. One day, I made a mistake. I left too obvious a trace, a small detail that fell into Katia's hands. She picked it up, frowned, deep in thought. For a moment, I saw her expression change. I held my breath. Did she understand? Or was it just a coincidence? One more second, and everything could collapse. Katia had always been sensitive. She might not notice small details, but she could feel when something was wrong. And now, that feeling wouldn't leave her. Andrei had become distracted, and perhaps my gaze held more than I intended to reveal. She tried to push away her suspicions, but they kept coming back. Then she found the evidence. A small thing that could never belong to her. Something left behind carelessly, without enough caution. She picked it up, turned it over, and I saw something change in her eyes. The questions were on the tip of her tongue, but she didn't ask them. Instead, she started watching. She waited for us to slip up again. And that moment came. I didn't know Katia was standing behind the door. Andrei and I thought we were alone. A barely audible sound, a step, and I turned around. Her eyes. There were no tears, no outburst. Just coldness. She understood everything. The silence stretched endlessly. Andrei couldn't say a word. Neither could I. Then, she simply turned and walked away. I thought a storm was coming, but instead, there was something worse: silence. She didn't create a scene, didn't destroy everything around her. She just kept living, as if nothing had happened. But I knew, this was only the calm before something terrifying. And I was right. Katya didn't forgive. But she didn't destroy us immediately either. She waited. And when she struck back, it was the most painful blow of all. Write in the comments what you think about this story. What would you have done in Katya's place? Have you ever experienced something similar, or have you heard of such stories? Your comments are incredibly important, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Subscribe and leave a like so you don't miss new thrilling stories. Wishing you a great day. And so I know you listened until the end. Write this phrase in the comments: silence can be scarier than thunder.